How's it going, everybody? This is Sunaak here, back for another episode of Pokemon LeafGreen. In the last episode, we obtained our first gym badge and took on just a lot of enemies, a lot of trainers in the previous route for Route 3. Speaking of Route 3, there were a few encounters that I didn't mention last episode. I'll just go ahead and go over those now. Hopefully I can encounter them here in the grass, but starting off with these encounters, it's going to be Nidoran female. Oh, cool. So we actually found one. I actually took the liberty and caught them off screen, so that way I can add them to the Pokedex. But yeah, Nidoran female is a poison type that will eventually become a poison ground type. It's a defensive counterpart compared to its male counterpart, when it being Nidoran male, obviously. And this is the first time in the game where we're going to start seeing kind of the version exclusive kind of take place here. So it's not really a version exclusive, more as it's just the encounter rates. So for example, if you're playing LeafGreen, you're going to find Nidoran female 14% of the time, whereas opposed to Nidoran male, it's going to be 1% of the time, and vice versa. So it's they're honestly really good Pokemon. Like I said, Nidoran female is the defensive one, where Nidoran male is the more offensive one. So I honestly recommend either one of them if you're looking for a poison and ground type. I would probably go with Nidoran male, as it is the more offensive of the two, so that's exactly why I recommend it more. Nidoran female is not bad in any way. It's just there's obviously the more points in offense, which will benefit better if you go with the male route. And then last but not least, we have Jigglypuff, and we've seen a trainer use one. It's a normal type with an extremely high amount of HP. The thing about normal types in these Pokemon games is that they have a very diverse move pool, but you'll need to invest in TMs for them to have that diversity. Jigglypuff, when it evolves into Wigglytuff, it actually is a more of a special attacker, but it actually can utilize some physical moves, so it can have a really diverse pool of moves, so which is very nice. I can somewhat recommend it if you're looking for a Pokemon that can provide some kind of challenge, I guess, and it's actually kind of fun to use, but there are better normal types in the game. Alrighty, I just healed up because I was just battling wild trainers to have some footage. But anyway, here we are at Mount Moon. And just the same as, I'm going to go ahead and go over all the Pokemon that we can find here as well, so that way I don't forget and have to do it in a later episode while we're exploring. But let's go ahead and see if we can encounter one of these Pokemon here. Right here you see TM09, just a heads up. But starting off with the encounters, very common here in the Mount Moon, you'll find Zubat. Let's see if this is Zubat here. No, it's actually Geodude. Anyway, Zubat is an extremely common Pokemon that you'll find in caves, and it's really annoying, and there's always a lot of jokes about like, oh, like you're always just finding a whole bunch of Zubats everywhere in caves and you'll be bombarded with them. But all jokes aside, Zubat, for being such a common Pokemon, is actually very great. It's very fast and very offensive. It's a poison and flying type throughout its in the evolution line, so it's very good. It actually has another evolution outside of Golbat or after Golbat, but you can't obtain it until after you beat the game. But Golbat's stats by itself are actually, it's pretty good. It's a speedy physical attacker. So I can recommend this Pokemon if you want a flying type, but don't want to go for, like, you know, the very traditional normal flying types. And then next up, we actually have Geodude. He's a rock and ground type throughout its evolution line. An extremely physical, it has extreme physical defense, which is great for walling out Pokemon. But it has some very laughable special defense, as you've seen with the fight with Brock and everything. It actually has 4 times weakness, it being to grass and water, unfortunately, which can be kind of common in the later games. You can only, and then the only downside of it too, you can't really access its final evolution until by trading. You can only access it that way. But other than that, it has great physical defense and physical attack. And another downside of it is just super slow. Honestly, I really can't recommend the Geodude line, as its weaknesses can be exploited heavily. And then next up, we actually have Paris. There's actually a floor in this cave, I'll show a little bit later, that its encounter rate is 100%, but it's a bug and grass type. It doesn't actually have a very good move pool in my opinion, to utilize some of its stats that it has going for it. It's more of a physical attacker, but doesn't have the moves to really capitalize on that, unfortunately. It's 4 times weak to fire, and it's extremely slow. So I don't recommend this Pokemon because there are better bug and grass type Pokemon later in the game. And then last up, we actually have Clefairy, and it's a very rare encounter actually. So if you can find one, that's extremely lucky. It's a normal type in this game, but it's a fairy type in later games, but we'll get to that one day. And then, just like Jigglypuff, it also has an extremely diverse move pool, just like most normal types. It's really good as a special attacker and has some really good special defense. So it's actually a very usable Pokemon, even in this game as opposed to like the later games too. Evolves using a Moonstone, and there's a 5% chance of catching one that's actually holding it. So if you're lucky enough to find that, that's great. I can actually recommend this Pokemon. It's unique and actually really fun to use. I've used one in one of my playthroughs long ago, and I remember it being good. Alrighty, so that takes care of all the counters there. And speaking of Clefairy, see how great of a Pokemon this is. I'm just going to go ahead and show this battle off. It wasn't required, but since I was just talking about Clefairy, you can kind of see how it is in action right now. Okay. So just as I said, it's very specially defensive, and especially since it keeps lowering my attack, which is not good. Swap over to Vine Whip. Come on. Gonna hit like 5 times, of course. The thing about those type multi-hit moves, you'll notice that if you ever use them, you're only gonna hit twice majority of the time, while the NPCs and everything will always be hitting it 5 times. So, wish we had their luck. So cool. Lotus got up to level 18, and we defeated her. I lost? No duh. Okay, I'm actually going to put Falco up in the front just to kind of get some levels on him. Oh, and actually, what am I doing? I need to put on the repels that I bought. Because if you don't, you're going to be stopped every 5 seconds. Okay, so just as I was talking about Paris, it's actually in these floors here that its encounter rate is at 100%. And hey, he looks very shady. We, Team Rocket, are Pokemon gangsters. We strike fear with our strength. So this is actually going to be the evil team of this game, and we've heard some rumors about them, and so here they are, sure enough. The thing about them, they use a lot of ground and poison types, so I guess kind of prepare accordingly. They're not very difficult, especially the grunts, because they always use unevolved Pokemon throughout the majority of the game, which is always why a lot of people underestimate the evil teams, because they just do that to themselves. Alrighty, come on Falco. I shouldn't be using any of these moves because, yeah, he's raising his defenses. That's the thing about Sandshrew that they love to do. Come on. Should have kept Lotus up in the front. Oh well, this should take it out already. Awesome. What else you got? Rattata. Oh yeah, and they also use Rattata a lot too. Not just poison and ground types. Okay. It's a good thing about Falco that he has some pretty good stats when it comes to physical and I guess special attack too, so fairly easy to use. Okay, level 17. And Zubat to finish it off. Awesome. shouldn't be that bad because you're gonna resist the moves. The thing about Zubat too, he's not going to get like a really good offensive move until I think level 13, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be later generations that I'm thinking about. But yeah, the moves that he has in the beginning, it's extremely hard to use, unfortunately. Okay, so that was Team Rocket. Kind of push over in my opinion. Well, at least that battle. Got a star piece here. Okay, let's see if there's... Sometimes there are actually items in these rocks that you'll find, but I'll make sure to point them out if I do find any. So I won't waste your time having to just sit there and keep pressing A on a lot of stones and stuff. Anyway, back up there. That was just for an item, as you saw. Okay, gonna try to be careful and skip these trainers real quick so I don't hold you all up. Got a potion there. Actually, I'm gonna take on this Bug Catcher real quick to give Falco some experience. Alrighty, that was very easy. Just, you know, the simple Caterpies and Metapods, and there's a rare candy here. And I actually want to take on this trainer here too, because he does have some Pokemon that I think are very interesting. What? Don't sneak up on me. So here we are. We've got Super Nerd Jovi. He actually has a Magnemite, which is kind of... It's going to be a little difficult to attack since I don't have like moves that kind of will damage him very well. Because unfortunately he's a steel type, a steel electric type. So it's going to be resisting a lot of Falco's moves. So I'm going to see Lotus can knock him out real quick. Yeah, kind of annoying moves. And oddly enough, that will actually lower your special defense. So yeah, no, it's going to... Well, I mean, at least it does more damage than... Because it's special. So let's go ahead and knock him out real quick. Come on, Lotus. Oh, please don't paralyze. Watch, it's going to paralyze. Oh, thank God. Anyway, I just use a Vine Whip just in case. Because I think if I would have tackled it, probably would have lived with one. Okay. Very nice. And he also has a Voltorb. It's a very fast electric type. So those are some very interesting Pokemon here to add. Just kind of add them to your Pokedex a little bit. But I mean, I know it's not really counting on seeing Pokemon, but just in case if you wanted to see them, because those are actually pretty interesting Pokemon, which we actually can't catch them until way later anyway. So that was that. I can't wait until we actually get the stronger repels, because these 100 steps go by super quick. Okay. And I don't think he's a trainer. Hi, I'm excavating for fossils here under Mount Moon. Sometimes Brock of Pewter Gym lends me a hand. Very nice. Okay. I want to show this trainer off a little bit too, because I think she has some new Pokemon that we haven't seen yet. And I guess I'll kind of do that for Pokemon trainers that actually aren't required. If they have something interesting, I'll just show them off. And sure enough, that she has an Oddish, which is a grass and poison type. So if you didn't choose Bulbasaur, this would be like another alternative. But I think it's only a... Well, I'll go into bio later once we have the ability to catch it. So, cool. It's the level I wanted to get Falco to. Okay, he's going to send out Bellsprout. To make it go quicker, we'll keep Falco out because there's no point. This is another grass and poison, so two very unique Pokemon that she has, which is very nice. Okay, awesome. Oh, I lost it. I feel like they always just say that, the lasses. But yes, that was the reason why I wanted to get Falco to level 18. Because he's actually evolving. Very nice. Wonder what it could be. It's Mewtwo. Awesome. So if he evolved from Pidgey to Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto, yeah. Cool, so now let's check him out. Let's see what kind of stats that he has. Obviously, looking very nice. A higher attack stat than Lotus, which is very nice. So, cool. And I don't know about you, I always like to kind of level them up as close as I can together. So the way that you're going to be seeing me train, just so you'll know, is that every 2 levels I kind of swap them out. So if once Lotus hits like level 20, I swap to Falco. I don't know, it's just always kind of a thing that I did. So, very nice. Get another little detour here. Another rocket grunt there. I won't fight him on screen because I'll fight him off screen because it's just not extremely required. But you get TM46 there. Oh crap. I'll cut him out real quick. Yeah, he had a Zubat and an Ekans. And if you come over here to this rock, if you come and check it, it's going to have an Ether, which is a PP restoring item. They're extremely rare and you can't buy them in stores. So I honestly don't recommend using them when you're out, and like store them as much as you can until like the very late game once you need them. Okay, and I believe this trainer is not required, so I'll get him off screen. If I'm not mistaken, oh crap. Alrighty, kind of an annoying fight. If I'm not mistaken, sometimes there might be items in like these craters or whatever if you do see like the graphics for them. But there's an item up here. There's a moonstone, so cool. If you have a Clefairy, you can evolve them. And and also forgot to mention for the Nidoran lines, they both also fully evolve with a moonstone, so you can actually get them fully evolved fairly quick. The only downside to stone evolutions is that they learn moves before they evolve, and if you evolve them as soon as you can, like, you're not going to be getting access to those moves, unfortunately. I think the way to do it is you're going to have to use like a heart scale or stuff like that during the later games and stuff, but we'll make note of that later. Got a revive over here. Very, very nice. Cool, I'll fight this guy real quick. Cool, I got Lotus to level 20 there. I'm actually going to use a potion on him because that Rattata had, I think it was Hyper Fang, and it was a pretty crazy move for Rattata. So anyway, just proceeding on. I think we're almost done with this area. The beginning dungeons are not extremely long, but this was like one of the bigger dungeons for the beginning portion of the game. So it was really good that I bought all those repels when I did. But yeah, here we go. Just in case, swap them around. And here we actually do have a required fight with one of the Rocket Grunts, so go ahead and show them off. We, Team Rocket, shall find the fossils. Reviving Pokemon from them will earn us huge riches. Yeah, so you can see they're very greedy and just want to capture as many Pokemon and sell them off. But obviously we got to stop them. Yeah, just get used to seeing a lot of the Rattatas and Sandshrews and stuff. They're fairly, like I said, Hyper Fang. Wow, that's actually a pretty good move. But yeah, just get used to seeing their similar Pokemon throughout the entire journey. But they're really good experience for especially newer Pokemon later in the game when you start capturing and building up your teams. So it's actually a really good way to raise up some of your weaker Pokemon. And here's the actual annoyance of Zubats, because they do have that supersonic, which confuses you. I believe what it is that it hits you with like a 40 powered move, like typeless move. So it, like, if you, I don't know if this works on this gen, if I'm not mistaken, but I know in later gens that the higher your attack stat, the harder you're gonna hit yourself. So I'm pretty sure it works the same way here. And just like the Let's Play curse, it's going to keep hitting myself, and obviously just because I'm recording, that's why. And okay, good, third time's the charm. Thank you, Falco, for not knocking yourself out. Ugh, now I'm mad. Better be. I wasn't mad at you for confusing my Falco. And then over here at this rock, there's actually another Moonstone, so if you have both Nidoran lines or both Jigglypuff and Clefairy, you can evolve them through that way. Gonna actually heal up Falco again, because we do have another required fight here. And with a scientist. Hey, stop! I found these fossils, they're both mine! Greedy little scientists. Oh, is that not? He's not a scientist. Super nerd Miguel. He sends out Rhymer. Very unique Pokemon. For these, if I'm not, yeah, okay, no, this one's actually the more offensive version, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's him and Coughing, which we'll get into later. I think they have, like a trade-off stat-wise, like one's more physical and the other one's more defensive. Ugh, and the more annoying thing about these poison types. And that's why I actually like poison types, like, at all, because they provide a lot of useful effects when it's on your opponent, obviously. So, it's gonna send out another Voltorb here. Yeah, they kind of rotate between either using really unique electric types or poison types. So hopefully doesn't have an electric move. Okay, good. Wow, Falco's actually pretty bulky. That's the thing about the Pidgey line that I like. They actually withstand to a lot of hits, I guess, physically. Okay, and he's using Coughing. Hopefully, I'm gonna risk it, but I have a feeling he's gonna get knocked out. Yeah, the poison's gonna ruin it for me. Whatever. I'll just try to whittle him down a little bit. But yeah, Coughing is very physically defensive, despite what you just saw right now. But it's because we are 7 levels higher. At least he set it up for Lotus to win. Okay, come on, Lotus. Wow. Yeah, I mean, Falco has higher stats than physically for compared to Lotus anyway. So anyway, we just defeated Super Nerd Miguel. Okay, I'll share. We'll each take a fossil. No being greedy. So yeah, here actually, I'm going to pick up a fossil here, and then it will actually be one of 2 Pokemon. I won't be going over the bio just yet because we can't revive them until way later. So I picked up the Dome Fossil, but yeah, those are actually pretty cool Pokemon in my opinion. Cool, thank you so much for that free Pokemon. And nothing there. Double check these rocks just in case before. Oh, never mind. It was a repel. Psych. And of course, step number 1. Alrighty. Yeah, that's the thing about repels. As soon as they wear off, you're bombarded. What about here? No, nothing. Alright. Well, anyway, with that, we made it to Route 4, and I'm actually going to go ahead and end the episode off here, actually, since we got through with Mount Moon. And I want to thank you all so much for watching, and in the next episode, we're going to go ahead and see what lies here in Route 4, and hopefully we can reach to the next city. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.